Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin with a question. In a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust President William Samoei Ruto? Be very honest. Don't be biased. And if you'll be kind enough, give me a reason for your answer. I'm saying this because I bumped on a video when William Ruto was campaigning in 2022. And during that moment, William Ruto went to Syokimau and places that had got some land problems. And I think in the Uhuru regime, some of the buildings there had been pulled down. So William Ruto went there in his usual manner, and he assured the residents of the residents of the places where we had problems and challenges with land. And William Ruto assured them that in his regime, he will ensure that there will be an amicable solution to land problems, so that even if you have built in a land where maybe you were duped, you didn't know it was riparian land, you didn't know that it was a land that was meant for or maybe expansion for roads or any legal land, he would not evacuate you, because according to him, he said it's very embarrassing for a parent to come back from work in the evening and then you meet your utensils scattered everywhere. And he promised the residents that he would be very humane in handling such matters.
Hakuna tena mambo ya evictions katika Nairobi. Kama kutakuwa na maneno, ni maneno ya relocation ambaye itakuwa ni kwa utaratibu, bila ya mwananchi kuvunjiwa nyumba. Uwezi kutoka nyumbani alafu unarudi jioni unakuta masufuria barabarani na blanketi sijui imekaa wapi. That one will not happen again. We want to make sure that we are an orderly, humane society that respects the right of everybody, irrespective of who they are or irrespective of their financial status. We are all equal before the Constitution. Tumekubaliana watu wa Nairobi?
Many a times I have heard people complain that there are people who keep on chiding William Ruto and saying that William Ruto is a liar. And some of his supporters think that some of the Azimio supporters have got a personal vendetta against the president. But then, when you further scrutinize Ruto's statements, you will realize that Ruto is a man of the moment. He knows what is music to your ears. In fact, whenever he is campaigning, he's got campaign gimmicks. He knows very well that if he tells you that he will not be pulling down your structures, then you will vote for him. And this is exactly what happened. And I know some of the people residing in those areas voted for him, hoping that when he ascends to power, they will be safe. Now, what surprised me was the fact that even leaders whom we have elected into offices still don't understand our president. They don't understand that we have a cunning leadership, a cunning regime. For example, Wavinya Ndeti, immediately William Ruto was sworn in, up to recently, he said he was ready to work with William Ruto. And you know, there is a difference between just saying you want to work with the national government, because in the constitution we have a two-tier government, the national government and the Senate. And when you say that you want to work with the national government, it's okay. But when you go ahead and heap praises on the president, and you go ahead and criticize even the opposition when they go to the streets at least to try and force the government to bring down the cost of living, then you say it is a waste of time. And you will agree with me that if there is one person who regrets her words, who would wish that she swallows her words, is the Machakos governor Wavinya Ndeti, because she was a crusader of William Ruto. She really said that William Ruto really is a man who will take care of the Machakos County, and a man who is concerned about the welfare of the common man. But today, she was saying we cannot allow this kind of dictatorship, because she's saying that William Ruto is demolishing their structures. In Mombasa, at some point, Abdul Somad really said that he was ready to work with William Ruto. And at some point, it was felt that he was moving away from ODM, only to come back crying that Mombasa Port was going. And you see, when we look at some of these reports from those who want to support the government, they later come crying foul, meaning that anytime the leadership of Kenya Kwanza knocks at your door, especially if you are elected on opposition, maybe Wiper, Jubilee, ODM, that you should really think twice, because I have seen all those leaders regretting for having supporting him. And I was thinking, could this be the very final fate that is waiting the governor of Narok, because he's the latest crusader of the Kenya Kwanza regime, and he made it very clear that not only will he support William Ruto, but he will deliver 100% of the Turkana votes, not Narok, Turkana votes for William Samoei Ruto. And we are waiting to see, because it's only a matter of time, and we may find him coming back crying foul. You remember when Raila and the Zami fraternity went to the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival, there was a lot of altercation, and there was a kind of planned mischief that Raila did not even get time to address his supporters there. And I'm looking at it because this is the same thing I saw with Wavinya Ndeti, it's the same thing I saw with Abdul Somad. Later they came crying and running. Could the Turkana governor headed to such a scenario where we will see him crying and criticizing William Samoei Ruto? But then, do we learn as a nation? Because I remember sometimes during the campaigns, our president went to national media and he was quoting wrong Bibles, which means that we had already known that maybe he was not very honest. And with this kind of dishonesty, 2027 is coming. But you will see some people still trusting him. I remember he signed a treaty with the teachers, a treaty with doctors, a treaty with women. But today, when you ask all the groups that were involved in signing treaties with our president, the pre-election, you will realize that I think just 1% has been achieved, because doctors are still crying, women have not been given the positions, teachers and everyone. But have we learned? Because anytime our president visits an area, he will be continuing promising things. Instead of implementing even the very ones that he had given us, he continues heaping promises on top of the ones that he has not implemented. So come 2027, are we going to find a different electorate? Are we going to scrutinize? And in fact, it's not only the president. Are we now wise enough to subject politicians' statements and weigh them in a scale and know that, I don't think this is true? And especially if you have a record of being dishonest to us, are we now going to sanitize politicians who have continued to deceive us, especially those we have tested, even if he's an MCA, member of parliament, a governor? Because come 2027, those who are incumbent will not have to tell us what they want to do. We will first ask them in their faces to prove what they have done. Upon weighing what they have done and what they told us, because of course there are very many challenges when you are in leadership, lack of funds. For example, governors could have an excuse that money from the national government was not coming in time, and so it's really delayed some of the projects and development projects that they wanted to do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, our president will still be coming to us and will be campaigning and will be talking good, because our president was given a very nice tongue. Whatever he says is music to the ear. But we need to be very careful, because anytime we believe politicians without scrutinizing their statements, then we come to regret later. And those who think that it's a personal vendetta when we subject William Ruto's statements, it is not. We do this to every leader, and we will always bear the statements. We will always lay them bare for the people to judge for themselves. Like in this one, he said he will not be demolishing houses. Is it the same thing that is happening in Syokimau, Athi River, and all in the Machakos County? It is you to decide, because as always, kura yako ni haki yako. Your vote is your right. But remember too that choices have good consequences.